When we change our mindsets, we can change our outcomes. Save our lives from sadness, depression, and anxiety, thus giving us the freedom to live the life we want. Hi, I'm Stuart Haskin, founder of GetSafe, and your host of the Movement for Change podcast. It's Stuart, your host for the podcast Movement for Change, and now I'm walking through the surf area because we're going to talk about hobbies with your significant others and how to share them or how to have your own space. I happen to like surfing, and that's why I'm shooting at the beach. Let's see what Jack has to say in our relationship series. Take care. Hey, welcome back with Jack. We're on the Changing Mindset, Changing Outcomes to Change Your Outcomes, as well as Save Your Lives podcast. Welcome back, Jack.
Good morning, Stuart. So nice to be here this morning.
Yeah, I'm excited about today's topic. It's competing relationships outside of your marriage. That means at the workplace, right? And some groups of friends that always want to take you off without including your partner. Anything that can kind of create a little conflict or, this seems maybe not right.
Yeah, and create maybe unsafety in your marriage. And when we talk about outside relationship, we talk relationship with maybe your in-laws, maybe your parents, maybe your sisters, brothers, your friends at work, right? Or your friend, the lifelong friend of the opposite sex, right? All of these type of relationship. But in addition, we also include here relationship with the addiction, porn addiction, relationship with the drug addiction, relationship with weed, relationship with alcohol.
Right.
All of these relationships that we form in our lives want to squeeze in between two of you, two people who are in love, right? They want to kind of squeeze in and have a little space there.
Right.
And that's great.
So you named, because going with, I think, let me ask you this real quick, because you named a lot, porn, weed, alcohol. If that's a shared partner in the marriage, like, hey, we like to watch porn a little bit, we like to do a little weed, like to alcohol, that kind of bonds you a little more, right? Versus wedges.
Absolutely. If nothing is done in the secret when it comes to addiction to porn, and maybe then we take away the addiction,
right?
Okay? Because addiction means that whatever you do interferes with your relationship.
Okay.
Right. But if you both like to watch porn, more power to you.
Yeah.
if you want to go out, and have a good time together and drive home safely, take Uber and not to endanger anyone, that's okay.
Yeah.
The issue becomes when whatever you do interferes with your work, relationships, friendships, day-to-day activities, self-care. Once it starts interfering with your life, then it becomes a problem.
Right. And and I get that. And then addiction would be volume, right? If when you're totally addicted to it, where you're like, we got to do it all the time. I think there's healthy, moderation is key to most anything, So.
Yeah. You can say there's a phrase called addicted to yoga, right?
Yeah.
You can be addicted to good things, which
absolutely.
is great, right? But it may also interfere with your relationship. If you start going there every single day from 8 to 9 and you're not home, then it also interferes with your relationship. Even good addiction becomes a wedge between partners.
Which I've seen for sure firsthand. A gentleman that I knew a couple of individuals that had shifted their addiction from harmful stuff to healthy stuff, and it kind of consumed them again. They just have to understand there's an addictive personality attached to everything.
Well, to take example, playing video games, right? If it's in moderation, you're great. You have time with your friends online, you're playing Call of Duty, whatever you want to play, right? But then what if you spend 24 hours doing this or 12 hours a day doing this? Or what if you sacrifice looking for work or doing the chores at home just so you can finish the last game, so you can have the last award in it? Then it becomes then your partner needs to compete with it.
Yes.
And that's where the difficulty is. When your partner gets in a position that they need to compete with other things in your life for attention, for love, for care, for support, for understanding, for being there, for help, then it becomes distressful or stressful in a relationship.
And I'm guessing we're going down the road of communicating by both parts. I think it's also, I think it's hard for, I could see how hard for a partner to say, hey, you ride your motorcycle too much, or you do too much yoga, or you do this too much. We need a
Right.
balance.
And that's even to say it this way is kind of tough because that becomes a judgment place, right?
Right.
And you judge a person and you say that whatever you're doing is not right. But probably the better way is to let them know that what happens to you, I miss you. There are
Yeah.
times when I want to be with you and you're not around. I miss you. I want to be closer to you. Can we spend time together? Can we find a common hobby? Can we do something together? Like you said, if people do things together and it doesn't interfere with their lives, it's all right. Now, the problem with addiction in general that it's increased. Addictions very seldom decrease, right? So once you start on the road, let's say in alcohol or weed or video game playing, it will constantly increase because all these substances and all of these stimulants will create positive feedback loop, and every time you do it, you get reinforced, and every time you do it, you get reinforced, and then it becomes a difficult part to get out of. So if you look at the typical addiction, you have two sides of it. One is a psychological addiction, and that's usually the beginning stages of the addiction where you just want to sit down, have a little drink and everything. But then it turns into physiological addiction. And physiological addiction is actually brain structure changes. And now you need to have that substance, so you need to have that fix to get you going. Right? But these are there's a process to decouple yourself from it and recover and then get in the right place, right? But I think even in addition to addiction of substances or things you do, then there's a connection with other people. You may have a friend that you had for many years who is opposite sex that may present a danger to your relationship. You may have ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend that are popping in and out of your life that may create danger to your partner.
Yeah. You know,
and put her in a position of competing or him.
I have a unique situation in my life, actually. One of my extremely good friends is actually the husband of an ex-girlfriend of 7 years. So it was a significant relationship.
Right.
And I remember my wife, coming to an event or meeting them and kind of realizing that it's safe because, he's a great guy. We just bonded after they met, and it's kind of, but everyone finds it very odd because I go, still come to the birthday parties, and she's always invited. And, but yeah, we adjusted it through, it was,
and that's a very good way to work through this, is as long as there's no secrets, right? It all comes down to, is your partner going to be surprised?
And are they included, surprised and included? Because I've seen that before where people don't include. Well, I'm just going to meet with Mary or Jim, and I'll go. Oh no, we're just going to hang out, So then that starts making weird feelings, I think.
Well, and it also puts your partner in a position of uncertainty, and it's not as safe. And now they're in position of competing for your relationship without knowing what they're competing with, right? So because if they don't meet them, if you don't introduce them, but in general, your partner needs to feel safe. Whether it's a male or female, they need to feel safe when you go out with your friends, when you go out with friend of your ex-boyfriend, or whatever it is. There needs to be safety, there needs to be understanding, there needs to be acknowledgement. And the first warning of something going wrong is when there's a secret. I mean, this happens a lot with gambling, for example. People who may say, no, I'm not gambling, everything's okay, we're good financially, everything's good. And then there's a surprise, right? Because they gambled half of their money thinking they're going to win so they can actually do the down payment on the house, and they lost everything. And then the partner finds out and says, we have a non-existent checking account.
Yeah, and those are I see that. And also trying to, I think back to, hey, I'm going to go out with some friends at work, or hey, I'm going to go out with my old friend, or hey, I'm going out with a friend that you haven't met, but they've been my old friend. I think that, kind of that seems odd kind of feeling is pretty legit most of the time, because like if something doesn't make sense, it might not make sense.
Well, and then that's the thing. A lot of times when people say I'm going to go with my girlfriends or boyfriends or school workers, work friends, um, and they say, well, you don't need to be there because we're just going to talk about work.
Right.
But then the things cross over. All right, how are you doing? Oh, having a problem with my partner, or we're not seeing eye to eye. Well, I can see eye to eye. I get you. I can see how difficult it is for you.
Yeah, it's
And
always
then
like
and
that.
then right. And once this crosses into this territory, then you won't invite your partner into the joint outings, because that's going to interfere with your attachment to the other person.
Yeah, and of course you open up differently, and of course they receive it differently, because and it makes me laugh, because that moment it's like, oh, you understand how I feel, but really, okay, so you leave your partner, you get together, 3 years down the road it's gonna be the same thing. You're not gonna see how I feel.
You're right. And also keep in mind that when the other person who is vying for your attention, chances are very little that they care about your current relationship.
No. Yeah, especially if there's an attraction deep down embedded somewhere.
Right. And that means that whatever happens with you and your current partner, whatever bond you built, whatever family you have and children you have and nest egg and a house and everything now is in jeopardy.
Right. Responsibilities. All right. With that, we're going to take a quick break, Jack. I'm going to come back and ask you, because you're one of the most adventurous men I know, and you have a lot of hobbies. So I want to see how that works in your 30-something year relationship. All right.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
I love the word empowerment. It means the granting of power or authority to perform various acts or duties. Empowerment is a word full of strength, capability, and hope. Empowerment to me is one of the keys to prevention and to the elimination of social barriers that allow violence to flourish.
Domestic violence is never okay, no matter if they have a medical condition or not. You always have the right to defend yourself.
Empowerment gives each and every one of you the authority to intervene in situations that seem somehow wrong, not by putting yourself in danger, but by making a phone call or distracting the abuser, always aware of your own safety.
Every girl should be confident in their skin and feel empowered to fight back. And it's not only something that females should learn, but that everybody should be aware of, but particularly in cases of domestic violence, it can happen to anyone.
I especially hope that you leave these rooms empowered.
Are you searching for a safe and supportive place to strengthen your relationships and improve your mental well-being? Well, look no further than Couples TLC Counseling, your trusted community mental health clinic right here in Fullerton, California. At Couples TLC Counseling, we believe that every individual, couple, and family deserves access to quality mental health services. As a nonprofit clinic, we are committed to providing affordable and compassionate care to our community. With our team of dedicated associate therapists, we offer a wide range of services, both online and in person. Whether you're facing challenges as an individual, struggling within your partnership, or navigating complex family dynamics, we're here to help. Our clinic has 7 therapy rooms, each designed to create a warm and welcoming environment for healing and growth. Our experienced associate therapists will work closely with you to identify your unique needs and tailor a treatment plan that best suits you and your loved ones. Couples TLC Counseling also offers support groups specialized for those who identify as male, female, or non-binary, providing a safe space to connect, share, and grow. Additionally, our parenting classes and specialty workshops empower you with practical tools to navigate the challenges of parenthood and enhance family relationships. Don't wait any longer to prioritize your mental health and relationships. Take the first step toward a brighter future by contacting Couples TLC Counseling today. Visit our website at couplestlc.org. That's couplestlc.org to learn more about our services and schedule your appointment. Couples TLC Counseling, where healing and connection thrive. Couples TLC Counseling does not provide emergency services. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, please contact emergency services or go to the nearest emergency room.
All right, I'm back with Jack, and I'm going to ask him about his life because Jack is a very, very adventurous and always has some, I don't know, to me, crazy hobby, skydiving and dancing and piano, anything he does. I'll let him explain, but he's been in a relationship for so many years, and I want to see how he works that in.
Well, yes, I've been in a relationship for 42 years to the same woman, so so that's a long time, and I'm very happy there. There's always bumps and hills and valleys that we need to cross over, but it just takes a little time. And what I find that whenever you have your own hobbies or you have your cohort of friends that you connect with on different hobbies, and your partner may not want to be part of this hobbies. Like, I don't think my wife wants to jump out of the perfectly good airplane.
Yeah.
And
Who does?
so she did it once, and she said that's enough for the rest of my life. But the key here is to bring your hobby to your house, and that means tell your partner about your hobby, tell what you're doing, who you're meeting, what do you do when you go there, show the picture, share the information. When your partner is aware of what you're doing and who you're meeting and how you interact with people, there's much less threat in the relationship. And the partner does not go into a place where they have to compete with other people.
Right.
Because hobby is very personal, and you can see that may take over relationship very easily. Because the hobby, you enjoy it. There's a joy factor of it, and you have some accomplishments, whether it's a bicycling, whether it's building model airplanes, right, collecting stamps or coins, whatever it is, that brings a lot of gratification. And the key here is to share that with your partner so they're part of it. Because then when you talk about your hobby, they're not an outsider.
Let me ask you this, though, because I know, for me, for sure, and I know many retired couples need their own space as well.
Yeah.
So how do you blend that in with, hey, I'm just literally just surfing with the guys, or I'm literally just going to take a motorcycle ride, but I do need some space, or I'm going to Costco by myself because I need some personal space.
Right. All right. Again, keeping your partner in the know of what's happening
Right.
with you. I'm going to meet Jim and Joe and a couple of other guys, and we're going to go surfing. We're going to be in Huntington Beach, and we're going to stay there for a couple of hours. I should be back home at 3:00. That's the information they need.
Right.
Right. When you go out and you say, well, I'm going to go surfing, I don't know when I'm going to get back home. They can't plan anything. The whole day is now in the waiting. Right.
Right.
Now, they can have their own hobbies and do the same time. A lot of times we talk about finding a hobby that connects to you. But still, if there's no clear understanding of where your partner is, what time he's going to come back, or she is, what time they're going to come back, what can we plan after you do your hobby? And that's what I usually do. After I do my hobby, we go out, so we go together to the beach, or we do something together so that my partner feels that she's in my view.
Yeah.
She's not an outsider. It's very easy with hobbies to just focus on the cohort of friends that you have and all these connections you've built. And then when you come home, you're spent, yeah, and you don't give anything to your partner, and that becomes, now she needs to compete, or he needs to compete with all of your friends in your hobby.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, because have enough in your tank whether you have kids or a partner, to be able to do family stuff when you get to do your own stuff, which is fair, I think, but also it's fair to do things with the family or your relationship.
And maybe the good idea is also develop your own hobbies, which is critical when you retire, just to stay active, but also develop common hobbies, something that both of you enjoy and both of you can do. For example, some hobbies include going on cruises, for example. This is a great hobby. People, they go together and then they enjoy time, because once you get on the cruise, all your buddies are gone. Okay, you're just with your partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and there's different type of cruises. There's a poker cruise and a tango cruise and whatever hobbies you may have. yoga cruise. Whatever, you can get those cruises and be together with your partner, and almost like a recharge the battery.
I like that. Well, I mean, because I do feel, I think both partners should have some kind of hobby, things that move them, whatever it is. It's because I think it's healthy to have your own kind of thing. And, I know me, I have a lot of my own personal hobbies for sure. I've had them since I was young. I'm not, always on the go, that type of person. But I like to swim a little bit. I like to take a motorcycle ride. I like to go to the surf with some, it's isolated. Right. So I can shut down and it's enjoyable. But I like my partner to have something that they like to do, something they enjoy.
That's such a good point you're making. And if you look at the general statistics, right, most of the men like to focus on things they do, and they exclude everything else from their view, right? They just focus. If they do a hobby or they're reading or they're doing something, they usually don't multitask. They stay in what they want to do, right? Most of the women, they can do multiple things and then hop from one project to the other project very quickly. So what happens a lot of times when men are busy with their hobby, they're so focused on this, they may miss a phone call, they may not answer a text message, they may not respond as quick as the partner wants them to respond, right? And that creates danger for your partner, right? If you text to your husband, hey honey, we're planning to go out at 5 o'clock, is that okay with you? And you wait for an hour and there's no answer.
Yeah, that's not cool.
It becomes stressful.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, men, I'll text you if there's a problem.
Right. Yeah.
If there's no problem, I'm not going to text you.
Exactly.
So these are what we call natural differences between genders.
Yeah.
This is normal. There's nothing wrong with these differences. And in the relationship, the key is, can we accept the natural differences of how we communicate,
right,
and how we interact with each other as normal, not something to fight over. I mean, there's so many times where one partner can say, you have no emotions, you don't respond, you just stand there still and don't say anything, right?
Yeah.
Now, I can guarantee you the person who is standing still and not saying anything, they have as much emotions on the inside as you have emotions on the outside. But you can't see them, right? And that's what a lot of men, they experience emotional distress on the inside. And it bottles up and they don't know how to express it. And for women, they look at their partner and saying, why he's not sad, why he's not telling me how difficult it is for him, why he's not telling me that he's struggling, right? Well, no, because we don't express emotions on the outside as women do, but we still experience them.
Yeah, and I think that I try and stress that with everyone, even my kids, human behavior. We all express ourselves differently. We all talk about things differently. Because my he's around 10, and he has kids on his team that may not vibe with him. But I said, hey, look past that. Maybe there's something else going on. Maybe there's a reason they're acting like that. So it's that, whether it's empathy or looking past that exterior behavior, which is whether they don't communicate or they're so loud or maybe in his words annoying or but that's the same thing in partnerships. You're right, and some men are very communicative and overly, and then I've met couples that said, well, that's all he talks about is his feelings, and they're like, okay, enough is enough. So it's getting that blend.
And that's a reversal.
Yeah,
that's
and
a
getting
reversal, right? About
the right blend,
30% right? 30% of men will be more talkative than women. That's kind of 70% of men are more of an inside. They just stop talking. It becomes a non-verbal relationship.
Yeah.
No, but what works is when one is a little bit pushing and the other one a little bit pulling away.
Yeah.
And the other one is pushing. But unfortunately, that configuration also creates cycles that create distress.
Yeah, and I think just like I said, I was saying, just creating that proper blend. All right, we have like a couple minutes left. I just want to talk real quick on how to healthily or how to communicate the fact that, hey, it seems like you're going out a lot with your, and this is for male and females, your friends at work, and I'm not included, or hey, is there something I can go with you? Why are you going alone? And those are the things that how to communicate that with, because
Yeah, it's very scary. Most of the people will hold on the inside and not say anything
or
for
bring
a
it
long
up
period
a
of
year
time.
later or something.
Right. But when they do bring it, most of the time it comes with a lot of energy, a lot of emotions, a lot of anger, maybe frustration, disappointment, resentment. Right. So the key is here, start early. Don't wait too long, because the longer you wait, the more resentment and anger will come out first, even though there's a pain behind it. So when you start it, talk about what's happening with you. Don't talk about what your partner is doing is wrong, or she should do it less, or he should do it less. It's what happens with you. And what happens with you, there's very finite things that happen with couples, with a partner. Most of the time, am I important? Do you care? Do you love me? When I need you, are you there available for me? These are kind of existential questions that all of the partners have. And maybe the way to approach your partner is to say that when you go out, I get really scared about our relationship. I'm worried that there's other people who will be vying for your attention. And I want to be close to you in those moments. I mean, let's share something like this. Talk about you or your needs and where your fears are. Because most of the time, there's 3 fears everybody experiences when there's a distress in the relationship. And one fear is about yourself. What am I scared of? That I'm not good enough. I have to compete with all these people in the bar, right? Or I have to compete with her ex-boyfriend, right? That's a fear about yourself.
Right.
Then the other fear is about your partner. My partner may fall in love with somebody else. My partner may look at somebody else and feel some feelings that belong to me, love and care and protection, right? And then there's a final fear is about the relationship. My fear is that our relationship will fail. We'll grow apart. We're gonna lose each other, or we're gonna get stuck in this relationship forever, in this difficult interactions. So the point here is, from the partner's point of view, talk about yourself, and clearly try to understand your fears. Those 3 fears about yourself, about your partner, and about the relationship. And if people want to jump on couplestlc.com, I have a form that they can fill out and help them to navigate through those emotions and understand where they are.
Oh, perfect.
I have a little booklet called "Are We Connected?"
Yeah.
And they can use that.
Well, you know how much I love little helping guides and sheets. So we'll definitely put that up on your underneath that so they know what website to go to. All right, Jack. Well, we're out of time. So that was a fun topic and difficult at times to address your partner, but I think it's something worth addressing. All right. Ultimately, our goal is to bring it out, and maybe they'll go, "Oh yeah, it does bug me. I'm going to talk about that." And so.
Right. And I'm so happy to be here, because maybe one bit at a time we can help every couple to succeed.
Yes. All right. Perfect. Well, thanks for changing mindsets and saving lives for sure, so we can change those outcomes. All right. Thanks, Jack. We'll see you again. All right. Let's go make some change. Take care.
You got it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stuart. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to our podcast, Movement for Change. We hope that our discussion has left you with new perspectives and insights that can help you change mindsets and save lives. Please visit us at getsafeusa.com for resources, trainings, and if there's a topic you want to hear about or you have questions, please email us at info@getsafeusa.com. Together, we can make the change we want to see.